This is a special presentation of WAAY 31 Sports. WAAY 31, your home for high school football.
It's the McCurry Big Game Friday night. Hello, Alabama, find a comfortable spot. We got high school football and it's coming out high. Now here we are and the lights are shining bright. Yeah, WAAY 31 is rocking all right. Nolan, Max, Xavier, and Antonio. It's the McCurry Band and Car Rental Big Game Friday night.
A cross-county rivalry. Can Madison County fall to Randolph for the first time in history in our Holt Sighting Game of the Week?
Hello and welcome into Big Game Friday night. It's week one of the high school football season in North Alabama.
Week 0 is in the books and now it's full steam ahead into week 1 of the season with tons of games taking place across Alabama.
Yeah, and one of the biggest games of the night took place just down the road at Randolph, where Xavier WAAY has been on the sidelines of our Holt Sighting Game of the Week. Let's head it out.
It's a cross-country rivalry that dates back to 1973. Tonight, the Randolph Raiders host the Madison Academy Mustangs, and in 13 tries, the Raiders have yet to ever defeat the Mustangs. So would tonight be the night that Randolph finally defeat Madison Academy, or would Madison Academy extend its win streak to 14 games? Tonight is also a night where both teams are looking to get their first win of the season. This is our Big Game Friday night Game of the Week.
We travel to Randolph, where the Raiders host the Madison Academy Mustangs. Both teams coming to this one looking to get their first win of the season. On the opening drive for the Mustangs, quarterback Carson Crean drops back to pass. He's going to air it deep near the sideline, looking for Hayden Bobkowski. But Connor Goodson says not on his watch and comes up with the big-time interception. Then later in the first, Raiders QB Andrew Hunter takes the snap and floats a deep pass down the seam, connecting with Grayson Davenport. That put the Raiders in good field position, which would set up Nick Strong, who takes this up the middle for 6. Randolph on the board 6-0. We picked this one up late in the second quarter. Mustangs looking to make some noise. Crean takes the snap and finds a wide open Judd Collins for the Madison Academy first down. And right before the end of the half, Crean keeps it himself and bulldozes his way in the end zone. Madison Academy would trail Randolph 20-12 heading into the locker room. And Randolph would maintain that lead throughout the entire game, topping Madison Academy for the first time in school history with a 46-33 victory.
I'm here with head coach David Lloyd of the Randolph Raiders. Coach, you all just came out victorious, 46-33. It's the first time you all ever defeated Madison Academy. And you told me that if there was ever a year to do it, this was the year. Why was that?
We just felt like we had a lot of experience coming back. We've been in big games before. We were second-round playoff team last year, so we've played these kind of games with these kind of expectations. And just our senior leadership on our team, I don't think would have let us go the year without getting this win. It's big for us. It's big for our program, and it's big because you win this game, but you got to get ready for region next year. So we're going to celebrate this for a little bit, and we got to get ready for region next week.
Coach, and just kind of talk to me about what you enjoyed seeing from you guys out there tonight.
Just the grit we played with, man. We had some guys cramping up, and they were coming off and getting right back in there. They wanted this game. We corrected a lot of mistakes from last week. Some of the balls we hit this week deep, we missed last week. So just to see them come back from a game like last week and then beat a team like Madison Academy that we've never done, was just huge for our guys. I mean, they wanted it. They played with a chip on their shoulder tonight, and we played the way we're supposed to play.
And our final score in this one is 46-33 as the Randolph Raiders, for the first time ever in school history, defeat the Madison Academy Mustangs. And this is our Holt Sighting Game of the Week. I'm Xavier WAAY, WAAY 31 Sports.
So a massive win for Randolph. Next week, they'll host JP2.
And speaking of great matchups, how about this one taking place in Florence tonight? The Falcons on the road taking on Muscle Shoals. And this Muscle Shoals team, man, they are talented this year, man. Watch out for them early on. The defense was hitting. Check out Braylon Jones coming in with the massive hit for the Trojans. And man, would they dial up a great play for Marquise Goodlow. He catches a pass here, finds open space. He's going to hit the sideline, and this guy is gone. Touchdown to Muscle Shoals. The fans loving it at home tonight as they start their season with the win, 44-28.
Another 7A Region 4 team in action was Bob Jones. The Patriots at home tonight taking on a talented Athens team. So over to Madison City Stadium where the Patriots are hosting the Golden Eagles. And if there's one thing you need to know about Rashawn Hardy, it's that the kid does not like to go down, spinning off defenders before hitting the ground in the red zone. A couple plays later, Hardy hands it off to Tyron Washington, who gets blasted at the goal line, but he's got reservations for 6 and scores anyway. So up a touchdown early, the Pats are planning to defend home turf like it's 1776. Hardy on the keeper again, and he just puts on a show, cutting, juking, and hurdling his way deep into enemy territory. A flag comes in on the play, but it's still a huge gain. So he's already done all that work, might as well finish the job, and he does just that on the direct snap. The extended arm gets across, and Bob Jones leads by 2 scores. The Patriots plant the flags in this one, defeating the Golden Eagles 44-21. Here's a look at some other scores from around North Alabama tonight. James Clemens taking on Mountain Brook, and they came out with a loss. The Spartans beating the Jets 42-21, while Albertville found themselves in action against Boaz and won 41-30.
All right, let's keep things here in Madison County for the next one. The Lee Generals made this short trip to Madison County tonight looking for their first win of the year. And the Generals jumped out to an early lead in this one, 14-0, but Madison County was knocking on the door. Jaden Wiggins takes the handoff, and he's got space down the sideline, but he's knocked out just at the red zone. The Tigers would bring it all the way down the 1-yard line. It would appear that Mason Meadows gets in for the score, but a holding call would spoil the party as they would back it up. Their next 4th down attempt will result in an incompletion, and the Generals will respond with another score. Brandon Johnson takes the high snap. He's going to power his way into the end zone for 6 as the Lee Generals get their first win of the year in a battle, 20-13 over Madison County on the road. All right, here's a look at some more scores from tonight. Scottsboro hit the road to take on North Jackson, and it's the Wildcats that get the win, 27-18, while Priceville, they moved to 2-0, a high-scoring affair against Fairview. They win it 54-47.
Last season, the Fife Red Devils saw the nation's longest winning streak of 51 games come to a close at the hands of Geraldine, and tonight they were looking for revenge. This week, the Red Devils travel to Geraldine with the Bulldogs driving in the first. A bad snap puts Jackson Colvin in trouble. He'd recover the ball but has absolutely nowhere to go, and a swarm of Red Devils come in for the sack. On the very next play, Colvin looks to gain some ground back, ripping one way downfield, and Cody Satterfield has his eye on it, but Lawrence Blackwell says not this time, coming away with a huge INT. The Red Devils had no trouble this year, rolling the Dogs 34-6. And heading out to the Shoals now to check on some more scores. Great matchup between Brooks and Mars Hill. The Panthers come out on top, winning 64-35 against the Lions, while at Lauderdale County, the Tigers lost to the Rogers Pirates 24-13. All right, let's go ahead and take our first time out of the show, but don't go anywhere.
Yeah, that's right. Coming up next, it's our rivalry game of the week. Antonio Macbeth, he's in studio. It's the Decatur Red Raiders taking on a very good Austin Black Bear team.
If a Black Bear scores a touchdown in the whole city of Decatur,
It's the McCurry Big Game Friday night.
You're watching Big Game Friday night.
All right, let's talk some football because we still have plenty of great games to get to tonight.
You can say that. And let's get into our rivalry game of the week. Decatur taking on Austin. Let's bring in Antonio Macbeth to go over this one.
this is a big one. As we all know, this is one of the bigger rivalries around here. And there are big keys for Austin specifically because Austin doesn't have a win on the board yet. So let's take a look at those keys of the week for Austin. First and foremost, get the defense off the field. They gave up over 40 points last week, almost 350 passing yards. You got to get some stops. You got to let the offense get out there and limit the penalties. They had 5 penalties last week. You can't get in your way. Decatur's already going to be tough enough. And then you got to make life easier for your quarterback. Number 2, De'Aaron Young is the man. He is a playmaker. You've got to make life easier on him. And then for Decatur, just keep scoring. Keep scoring points. They scored over 60 points last week. You know that offense works. You got to keep that moving. point, and then make sure Jaden Brown gets the football. This guy, you can tell, number 9, the receiver, when you're out there watching the football team, he just physically looks different, and then continue to limit the points. A shutout last week. Can you do that again against Austin? Those are your keys.
All right, so let's see how this one played out at Austin tonight. Decatur wins 28-14. Let's check out the highlights from this one. Taking place, of course, this was our rivalry game of the week. There it is right there, the Decatur Red Raiders taking on the Austin Black Bears tonight in what ended up being a battle. This game was back and forth. The place was packed. You couldn't find a parking spot to get into this game. Decatur, they've had a couple of bad years over the past couple of seasons. They come back with a lot of experience this year, and they're taking on a 7A Austin Black Bear team that also brings back experience. But in the end, it's the Decatur Red Raiders that get the win, 28-14. The final in this one, the Red Raiders get the win, and it was a very happy coach after the game.
Great effort by our team. We overcame some things, got out early, thought we executed well. Had some unforced errors. It gave them the momentum, and they came back and answered the bell. That's testimony to their character and their work ethic. And then our guys answered the bell at the end. Really a tough situation. I'm really proud of our kids, proud of how they battle. We got to correct a few little mental errors that we make out there, but I'm really excited for us. And
so there you have it. Decatur gets the big win. And Tony, what do you take away from this one?
Well, the big takeaway here is that this was a tough environment for both of these teams, and you could tell this is one of those rivalries you have to park in the grass to see. I had to park in the grass just to get in. And the crowd affected both teams. There were turnovers, uncharacteristic of both teams. But for Austin, there were penalties that got in their way again, and they just weren't able to overcome that. They were down 13-0 at halftime, but they did fight. They got it back within a score. Decatur was just too much. Austin obviously has some things to work on, but Decatur seems like they're a pretty good football team this year.
Yeah, that's right. Next week, Decatur takes on Athens, while Austin will host Sparkman to begin region play. Thanks, Antonio. We'll see you next week.
All right, let's take things to Milton Frank Stadium tonight, where Huntsville was in action against Oxford as they kicked off their season, and this game turned out to be a battle. We pick up Oxford leading 21-13, and their defense was stifling tonight. Huntsville with their backs against their own end zone, and the Yellow Jackets were all over them. Check out my man force a turnover. Michael Battle coming in a paw, the fumble, and just like that, the Yellow Jackets pick it up with 2 minutes left to play, and they would capitalize. Mason Mims steps back to pass, steps up in the pocket, and unleashes one. Samuel Robertson with the diving catch as Oxford comes to Huntsville and leaves with a 35-20 win. And looking at the rest of Region 4 now, Grissom took on Hazel Green tonight, and the Trojans post the shutout 23-0, while Sparkman had a tough task against Huffman and made it look easy, keeping the Vikings off the board in their 42-0 win.
Yeah, speaking of tough task in Newmarket tonight, the Buckhorn Bucks found themselves taking on a talented Helena team, and this game was back and forth from the very start. We'll pick up in the first quarter, and the Bucks went right down the field, and check out this dime from Jack Rue, puts it on the money for Kyler Douglas, and he's in for the first points of the game. But Helena would strike right back. Stream pass for the Huskies. It's Hunter Hale down the sideline, and he is gone. He says deuces, 14-14 ball game. But the Bucks, I should say 7-7 ball game, but the Bucks would bounce right back. Shamarion Landrum weaving through the Helena defense. He puts the Bucks in the red zone. The drive would stall, and they would have to settle for a Van Reed field goal, but that's not enough as Buckhorn falls tonight at home, 55-14. Other important matchups taking place this evening included Fort Payne. They hosted Etowah tonight. They get the big win, 26-14. Well, check out this score here. A high-scoring affair between Tanner and Mae Jemison, and it's Tanner that wins it 61-46.
One of the biggest surprises of Week 0 was the win Deshler had over Madison Academy on the road last week. Could they recreate that magic at home against Russellville tonight? That was the question on everyone's mind, and this game turned out to be a battle. The Russellville defense looked stout tonight. Check them out here with the big stop, and then guess what? Their offense is going to capitalize. Harrison Birch absolutely throws a bomb here as Banks Langston comes down in the end zone with it, and just like that, it's a score. But despite the early touchdown, Deshler begins the season 2-0. Don't look now, but the Tigers might be onto something in Tuscumbia. They win it 14-7.
Yeah, speaking of losing streaks, a big one came to an end, I should say, last week.
That's right. The Brindley Mountain Lions found the win column for the first time since 2017. Hear from head coach Keith Garner next.
Stay tuned for more
game Friday night with WAAY 31.
Big congratulations to the Randolph School Pep Band for being honored with this week's Flow Air Spirit Award.
The Pep Band brings it each and every week, and it's part of what makes Randolph one of the best atmospheres for high school football, in North Alabama.
Yeah, that's right. 47 strong with members from 9th to 12th grade and student-led as well by sophomore conductor Jackson Conrad. All right, well, let's get back to football tonight. Brindley Mountain were in action at Elkmont, and they lost to the Red Devils 26-16. But the big storyline all week was the fact that they won last week 26-20 over Cherokee. That broke a 43-game losing streak that lasted over 5 years and made headlines across the state as it was the second longest of its kind in the state at the time, and it left Keith Gardner proud of his team.
Oh my goodness, it's a hurdle that you keep wondering about, and as soon as we can clear that hurdle, it's going to open the door for other things. And so we've cleared it, we feel good about it, and now we're ready for the next one.
For a moment for the Lions, surely something what a moment, I should say, for the Lions, something that they will never forget. Another team that's hoping to snap a losing streak is Columbia.
Yeah, that's right. Their 63-game skid is the longest in the country, and tonight they welcomed Hatton to town. Playing on the big stage at Louis Cruz Stadium, things did not go well for Columbia. Down 32-zip, the Eagles have nothing to lose except the game as they go to the trick play. Jaden Darden flips it to Sebastian Taylor, but there's nothing going on downfield and overtakes Hatton. Now it's the Briley Kirby show, and he sees an opening and takes it. No one can even seem to get a hand on him as he makes it look easy before stepping out for a nice little breather. Now knocking at the door, Kirby hits Tayshawn Love, and it's like he's contagious. No one wants to touch him as he's in for an easy 6. But the Hornets were not going to settle for a 39-point lead. Instead, they opt to go for 2, and they get it, taking a 40-point advantage. They hand the Eagles their 64th straight loss, 54-14. And just down the road at Madison County Elementary, the Whitesburg Christian Warriors were hoping to build on a Week 0 win over Woodville. And Whitesburg were looking to start their season 2-0 as they hoped to defeat Victory Christian. Early on, it was all Ian Putman. He takes this handoff and he's got open field, makes one miss, and he powers his way downfield for a big Warriors first down. That drive would end, but later it was Putman again. He weaves through the Lions defense and he finds open field again, breaks a couple of tackles, and sets up this score for Whitesburg Christian. Caleb Robinson lets one loose, and he finds a wide open Thomas Harmon in the end zone for 6. Whitesburg wins this one, 27-20.
All right, let's head out to New Hope for this next one. The Indians beginning their season at home tonight against Sardis. And what an atmosphere it was tonight at Jack Mitchell Stadium. And this thing turned out to be a defensive battle, but finally the Indians got some offense going. Leighton Poole finds open space. He's knocked down out of bounds at the 15. The fans pumped up for senior night tonight on opening night. And then 2 plays later, senior Wyatt Bolden on the quarterback keeper for the score. 7-0 lead before the half. He gives a let's go to our news director, Stephen Gallion. In the end, New Hope begins their season with the win, 14-6 over Sardis. All right, well, let's go ahead and take our third and final time out of the night, but don't go anywhere.
Coming up next, we unveil our premier urgent care fan of the night before we leave you with the best part of the show, your big game Friday night top lights.
Stay tuned for more big game Friday night on WAAY 31.
It's the McCurry Big Game Friday night.
You're watching Big Game Friday night. Go Generals!
It's the McCurry Big Game Friday night.
Man, that was a great week one of high school football here in North Alabama.
Yeah, it really was. And when you look at a couple more scores from tonight, look at these. Lamar County, they come out with a loss against Phil Campbell, while over in West Limestone, the Wildcats defeat the Clements Colts 56-20.
Yeah, we're just about done here on Big Game Friday night, but we still have a final spotlight.
We now introduce to you our Week 1 Premier Urgent Care Fan of the Night. This week, we head to Madison County High School.
Hi, I'm Nick Sharp. Big Game Friday night. Fan of the night. Let's go, Tigers!
Yeah, how about that? A big congratulations to a junior Madison County student, Nick Sharp, for winning this week's Fan of the Night. Nick is a varsity baseball player, showed out in the body paint tonight as well. You'll love to see some school spirit. All right, that's going to wrap things up here on Big Game Friday night tonight. But before we go, we'd like to take this time to thank all of our radio sponsors for help making this great show possible. And we would also like to thank all of you for tuning in each and every week. We'd also like to thank all of our shooters, producers, everyone back in production, our PA assistant Oliver here that helps make this show run.
We'll see you all next week. Let's end things the same way we do every week with our Big Game Friday Night Top Lights.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week for Week 2. Have a great evening.
Watching a special presentation of WAAY 31 Sports.